Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. A Nintendo Switch Pro or Switch Max or Switch XL or whatever you want to call it is not happening. Well, at least not yet anyway. Smash JT. With Nintendo taking the world by storm, announcing the Nintendo Switch Lite recently, the worst kept gaming secret of 2019, a lot of people have been speculating that the Switch Pro is not too far behind. Unfortunately, with new information that's come to light, it looks like that is not happening anytime soon. The reports from the Wall Street Journal were saying that two different Switches were in production and both of them were new models. Other people were speculating that Nintendo has to go this route to keep up with Sony and Microsoft. But when you take a step back from the entire situation and look at it for what it is, a Switch Pro just doesn't make sense right now. When you pair that with what's going on and the information that's been uncovered by data miners, it basically paints the picture saying that a Switch Pro is not happening. I cannot emphasize that enough. I know there's a lot of people out there that will not like to hear this news. There's been a lot of people holding out for that new Nintendo Switch with better power, a 1080 screen, and all these other features, make it go faster, better battery life, you name it, it would have all the bells and whistles. No, that's not something Nintendo is working on because it doesn't fall in line with the business proposition of what's happening right now with the Nintendo Switch. Data miner hacker Mike Heskin on Twitter had discussed his findings in a recent report regarding the Nintendo Switch Lite model and, in addition, the supposed new Nintendo Switch console rumored to be on the way. The information was discovered from a recent firmware update on the Nintendo Switch, and the summary was posted to Resetera by Atheros. Since firmware 5.0, there has been support for 3 hardware lines, one with the original Tegra 210 and 2 for the new Tegra 214, Mariko codename. Now, those 2 hardware lines are Switch Lite and Switch New. The original Switch had 4 gigs of RAM and 6 gigs for the dev kit. The new models have support for both 4 gigs and 8 gigs of RAM. Both the Switch Lite and the new Switch use the LPDDR4X DRAM, which grants a small battery boost due to lower voltages. The GPU for the new Switch is clocked at higher values than the Switch Lite, potentially giving a modest performance boost. There's absolutely no evidence of an actual Pro version, at least not in the sense that it would be based off the Tegra X2 or have massive performance and or memory improvements. Basically, what they found from this data mining is, yes, Nintendo is working on a new Switch revision, but unfortunately, it's just for minor improvements over the current rendition of what the Switch is. So not too much is going to be changing outside of minor performance boosts. A system on chip will be changing to make sure the battery lasts a little bit longer. Maybe it will load a little bit faster, but nothing crazy, nothing mind-blowing. And above all else, the reason why Nintendo would be doing this is because it would be cheaper. These newer chips supposedly cost less. So it's a cost-cutting measure by Nintendo that gives a small performance boost, but more importantly, saves them money and sells the same Switch they've already been selling. So what the reports were on the Wall Street Journal initially saying that 2 new Switches were in production, and this is something that they had people on the inside that found out, technically they weren't wrong. The Switch Lite was a new Switch model in production, and what's going on with the new system on chip design with the new Nintendo Switch, even though it's the same original version, the same actual structure of the system, unfortunately, nothing really new besides minor improvements. People were looking forward to a Switch Pro or a Nintendo Switch Max, hoping that that would be the system that answered all their prayers to compete directly with PS4 and Xbox One, to put Nintendo on the same level with them, to be able to get their games just like they get on those other systems, but be able to take them on the go. But from what we've seen with CD Projekt Red and The Witcher and how that's coming to the Nintendo Switch, with some minor design changes, removal of some shadows, sounds, some graphics toned down, and all the basics that go around with Nintendo, they were still able to get the game not only to run on the Switch, but run well enough to make it and sell it for the Nintendo Switch. So the proof of concept right there shows that the Nintendo Switch is perfectly capable enough to play modern AAA titles from developers that are not named Nintendo. So no, a Nintendo Switch Pro is not coming anytime soon. What this Switch Pro may end up being, and this probably is going to frustrate a lot of people, but eventually, when it does come, it will be a thing. The Switch Pro or the Switch Max or the Switch XL, it won't have that name, most likely. And what it's going to be is the next generation Nintendo console. So it will be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch games that are available right now. But in addition to that, will be capable of playing far more superior graphics, enhanced gameplay experiences, you name it, it will be able to do it. Hopefully with longer battery life and maybe better Joy-Cons that last longer than 2 months before they start drifting. There are a lot of things that they could fix on the current Switch, but right now it's not really a priority. Nintendo, from a business standpoint, it doesn't make any sense to do so. This is coming from me, a guy who predicted the Switch Mini a year and a half ago, almost to the day, saying that Link's Awakening, which wasn't even announced yet, would be debuting with it. And here we are, fast forward to just this week, it all came true. That's happening, and not only is it happening, it's getting released on the same day, which that's a whole nother topic, which I'm surprised Nintendo did not announce anything with a Link's Awakening Switch Lite, but I'm not going to go into that here because I want to focus on why the Switch Max is not happening. Based off of my experience, I've worked about 10 years directly in the video game industry. I have a bachelor's degree in business management. I have a master's degree in leadership. I've worked and played video games my entire life. I've made a lot of decisions based off of my experiences from education and what it makes sense in the business world. And with Nintendo moving forward with the Switch Lite, it makes all the sense in the world to not compete against themselves. Right now, they have defined a market. The Switch market has carved a gigantic niche in the video game industry. And right now, Nintendo is going to jump into that market and try to expand upon it by taking over the console market once again, from migrating from the 3DS and 2DS line of products to now a portable-only Switch console that should get a lot of the gamers that were playing on the 3DS to migrate over to the Nintendo Switch with that price point of $200. I also wrote an article on smashjt.com to go in line with this with further details about my thoughts and underlining all the information that we have, the facts out there. Doug Bowser from Nintendo also spoke with CNET, telling them that they have no intentions of releasing any other consoles this year regarding the Nintendo Switch. And the way he said it to them made it sound like they're not really looking into next year either. A lot of people took what he said as, oh, that means January of next year, there will be a Switch Max or a Switch XL or a Switch Pro. No, what he's saying is they are solely focused on selling the Nintendo Switch Lite right now to that audience that they'll be carving out the niche for. And in addition to that, continue to sell the Nintendo Switch like hotcakes. Nintendo is not having an issue selling these consoles, so it doesn't make very much sense to try to create an entirely new market for it when they already are growing the one they have right now rapidly, exponentially. The Nintendo Switch is one of Nintendo's best-selling consoles ever, and that's impressive if you consider their history. So taking a look at this, stepping back, yes, Nintendo will be making a Switch revision that will have more power, but it's not coming anytime soon. My prediction for this is it's going to be the next generation of Nintendo consoles. Take it or leave it. That's what I feel about this based off the facts that have been presented to us, and from a business standpoint, it would not make very much sense to create an entirely new console, confuse the market even further, and try to sell something that would compete directly with Nintendo's products that they're already selling well right now. But that's where I'm going to leave my thoughts on this video. I'd be very interested to hear what you think about this. Do you feel like a Switch Pro is still coming? Or has Doug Bowser and these leaks from the actual data miner changed your mind on the situation behind the scenes with Nintendo and their consoles coming out? Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash J.